Hi everyone, I'm Pat Prokop, retired meteorologist here in Savannah, and watching Tropical System Nicole. Now Nicole, as a hurricane this morning, made landfall around Sebastian, Florida. That's on the middle portion of the east coast of Florida, with 75-mile-per-hour winds, moved inland, and now has winds of around 50 to 60 miles per hour as it continues to weaken. But the concern here is these very strong bands of showers and thunderstorms developing off the Atlantic coast, and those are going to be drawn inward throughout the remainder of the afternoon hours, and these can produce rain squalls, and these squalls are intense periods of rain for a short period of time and strong gusty winds. And in some of these squalls, we can find some of these short-lived spin-up tornadoes that can have winds in excess of 70 miles per hour. So let's take a look at the maps. So let's take a look at the satellite imagery. This is the infrared satellite imagery, and it shows the center of rotation in and around the just north of the Tampa, around the Big Bend area of Florida, and it's moving off toward the northwest, and it's going to turn more toward the northeast throughout the later on tonight and for tomorrow. But I'm watching this band of showers and thunderstorms developing in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of northeastern Florida, and another large band off the coast of South Carolina and off the coast of Georgia. Let's take a look at the lightning data with the visible satellite imagery. There you can see the storm very well wound up over here in Florida, and a large cloud cover and rain shield over portions of Georgia, a good portion of Georgia and South Carolina. Now, I'm more concerned about this area out in the Atlantic Ocean over here, and this band of convection developing here to the east-northeast of the upper portions of Florida. This is where we're going to see the squalls developing. Now, as the storm pushes off toward the northwest, it's going to drag this system inward, and it's going to pull these thunderstorms over the eastern portions of Georgia and South Carolina throughout the afternoon and for tonight. Now, looking at the Storm Prediction Center, there is a chance for severe weather in our area. This is a chance for possibility of tornadoes in our region, and because of that system moving onshore. Let's take a look at the radar summaries. First of all, looking at the radar coming out of the Charleston, South Carolina area. Actually, the radar is in Grays, North Carolina, just north of Ridgeland. And there you can see a lot of convection developing out in the Atlantic Ocean. Farther to the south, there is a tornado watch in effect across portions of northeast Florida and southeast Georgia from around the Altamaha River southward. There you can see some very heavy bands of rain showers and convection moving onshore in the extreme southern portions of southeastern Georgia. Now, these could produce tornadoes. Already some tornado warnings have been issued for portions of northeast Florida, extreme southeast Georgia at this time. And very strong winds on St. Simons. They've been gusting to 40 to 50 miles per hour throughout the morning hours. Let's take a look at the regional radar right now. And here it is. This is the Jacksonville radar. Now, this tornado watch is in effect until 1 o'clock. And actually, it's probably expired now as you're watching this video. But I expect a new one to be issued later on this afternoon for the upper portions of southeastern Georgia and probably all of eastern South Carolina, as these convection bands begin to move onshore. And these will produce what I call rain squalls, which are brief periods of extremely heavy rains and very strong gusty winds. And within these rain squalls is where you're going to find the embedded short-lived tornadoes. And these tornadoes could have winds of 70, maybe even near 100 miles an hour for a very short period of time. But of course, if you're underneath that, it's not good for you at all whatsoever. But we're watching this system here with this very strong convection moving onshore. There you can see the tornado watches going up and down as we go through time in this region here. So expect that to start happening in the upper portions, mid and upper portions of southeastern Georgia into a good portion of the eastern portion of South Carolina. All right, let's look at the computer models right here, and there is the storm this afternoon, actually early this morning, and this computer model pushes it to the northwest and then curves it to the north, as all the other computer models have been doing. But what I'm concerned about are these bands of convection right here. Here we are at 6 o'clock this afternoon into the evening hours. You've got a couple bands of convection moving in across the Savannah River area across areas just north of Beaufort, South Carolina, into Hampton County. Another one developing across the southern areas of south of Savannah and Liberty County, McIntosh County, extending back into central Georgia. And then as we go into future time, those bands push northward, another band develops and pushes across. Now all of these have the potential to produce very strong gusty winds in the rain squalls and short-lived tornadoes. And then another band develops by tomorrow afternoon, and actually tomorrow morning before sunrise. This is the short range high resolution rapid refresh model. It only goes out to 18 hours in this time frame here. So let's take a look at the another model that goes out a little bit further in time. And here we have the wind forecast. Now as the storm moves, of course, over the land, it's going to be weakening, but we still have strong winds coming in off the Atlantic Ocean. That's going to be pushing up the tide, and the tide was quite high this morning. As a matter of fact, I think I can go to the tide right now. Let's take a look. And on my Weather and Nature page, savannahpat.name, go all the way down to the tide anomaly at Fort Pulaski. And here you can see the tide this morning did reach 10.4 feet, and that caused the water to go over the road at Tybee Island, the road to Tybee Island between Bull Creek and Lazaretto Creek. The road was flooded there for about an hour and a half. Now the tide continues to hold up as those winds continue to push in from the southeast, east-southeast right now, then southeast tonight. But then by tomorrow, the winds, here we go into sunrise tomorrow, the winds becoming more southerly. So that's going to be parallel to the coast of Georgia, but still pushing the tides up into South Carolina. So we have to watch out for that, particularly north of the Savannah River entrance. The tide will be high at the Savannah River entrance tomorrow morning, but not as high as it was this morning. It could be high though this evening around between 9 and 11 o'clock. There is a chance that we could see another flooding tide by that time tomorrow afternoon, or this evening. But tomorrow afternoon we should see the winds more southerly, still gusty, and we could see some more convection throughout the day tomorrow. Chance of showers and strong gusty winds associated with those showers. Let's look ahead at the precipitation. And we're still looking at some moderate to heavy rains continuing to accumulate across our region. So taking a look at the precipitation forecast, there we have a cumulative precipitation of 2 to 3 inches perhaps in some locations in southeastern Georgia, central Georgia, into the eastern counties of South Carolina. This is for by 11 o'clock tonight, and then continuing overnight. We're still seeing a little bit more, not that much more, but more so throughout the day tomorrow, going into Saturday evening, and it goes right up into the Appalachians. So let's take a look at that real quickly. And there you can see, mid-afternoon Saturday, a large swath of very heavy rains across the mountains, the Appalachian Mountains, all the way up into the New England area, into the St. Lawrence River Valley. And that could produce considerable flash flooding up in the mountain areas. But for us, I'm more concerned about this area right in here, this convection that is developing. And there you can see all the lightning off the coast, and that's going to be pushing and being dragged inland throughout the remainder of the afternoon and for tonight. So it's a high probability that a tornado watch will be issued for our area throughout the remainder of the afternoon into the evening hours. So watch out for those. When you see those squalls moving in with the heavy rains, expect to see some very strong gusty winds, and that's where you can see the possibility of short-lived tornadoes. And with that all being said, a tornado watch has just been issued for the upper portions of, well, actually all of southeastern Georgia, central Georgia areas of our region, and up into a good portion of the eastern and southeastern portions of South Carolina until 7 o'clock this evening. These bands of showers and thunderstorms moving on shore from the Atlantic Ocean could cause those tornadoes to develop. So be on the alert for very strong winds associated with these rain squalls coming on shore and short-lived tornadoes that could have winds in excess of 70 miles per hour. And as I finished, I just said a tornado watch is in effect until 7 o'clock this evening for just about all of southeastern Georgia into the eastern and southeastern portions of South Carolina. Keep in mind that this system will continue to drop Periods of heavy rain throughout the nighttime hours with strong gusty winds, and the tornado watch might be even extended throughout the nighttime hours. And watch out for that tide tonight as well, particularly between 9 and 11 o'clock this evening. After that, the tide won't be quite as high. It did flood this morning, though, as we saw on the highway from Bull River to Lazaretto Creek on US 80 here in the Chatham County area. So thanks for watching, and keep watching my website, savannahpat.name, for additional updates and current weather and radar reports. Thanks for watching.